Something like that, I answered, purposely vague. He looked delighted. Anyone a ken? Probably not. He tapped a finger to his lips, scanning me again from beneath his hood, entirely unperturbed by the raindrops cascading down his long nose. I'm sure I ken ye fae somewhere, lass. That I couldn't deal with right now. I doubt it. I extended the ticket further, rain soaking up to my elbow, until he finally understood my meaning. Giving the ticket a discontented stamp, he motioned for me to drive on. Welcome to Skye. His tone was decidedly less sunny. Pulling away, I felt terrible. He was a talker, and as a fellow talker, I understood the sting of that kind of brush-off. The man was my people. But it turned out even the sunniest of personalities could be dimmed after a 12-hour car journey from London. Throw in the white-knuckled driving of a human who'd forgotten what it was like to drive on the winding roads of the Scottish Highlands. I hadn't burnt the candle on both ends. I'd set the entire bloody thing alight. The only thing I was fit for was food and a bed. The entrance to Skye was delivered with very little fanfare. A narrow pier transcended the rocky Armadale Bay at the southern end of the island, shining prettily under the grey cloud cover. You could think of the island itself as resembling a hand with 5 stretched-out fingers, each finger a peninsula. We were in the thumb. Despite the long journey, my Minnie purred beneath me, completely at ease as I steered onto the shore-hugging lane that began to feel familiar. The road that would carry me 15 minutes north to my childhood home was flanked along one side by half-bent trees. All that stood between my car and the expanse of reflective blue water on the other side was a low stone-built wall, giving way to the rugged mountain peaks of the mainland rising through the clouds of fog. The moment I passed the sign, Kinleith welcomes you, I hit my indicator and slowed. My eyes automatically scanned for the sharp bend so hidden amongst my grandfather's shrubbery, it had fooled even him on occasion, much to my grandmother's amusement. I could picture her chuckling from the passenger seat every time he was forced to swing the car around on the narrow country lane. So you could imagine my surprise at finding them not only cut back and neatly squared off, but a large wrought iron gate sitting across the entrance. What the hell? I murmured, coming to a stop. Keir had passed away almost 3 months ago. He was my last living relative, unless you counted my mother, which I didn't. She was currently living her best untethered life in Thailand, or was it Bali now? Regardless, she was more like that friend from school who contacted you once a year to ask you to invest in their new wax melt company. And Keir, well, my grandfather wouldn't have spent money on something like this. Turning in, I pulled the handbrake and clicked off my seatbelt. Dudley gave a pathetic yowl that said, if I don't eat in the next 30 seconds, death is imminent. I fed you 2 hours ago, you little monster. A hastily scarfed-down meal by the side of the road, as I'd attempted to pee behind a bush while simultaneously keeping my eyes peeled for anyone with a camera. I could already picture the headline. Disgraced starlet damages endangered ecosystem via urination. The paranoia was second nature at this point. I bet Julia Roberts never had to deal with this shit. Beyond done, I didn't spare any thought to the rain. I jumped from the vehicle, hoping against all odds that whoever was last to visit the estate had thought to leave the gates unlocked. I gave a hard push and almost wept with exhausted joy when it swung wide. The early May evening was uncommonly balmy, yet my teeth still chattered on the bumpy ride down the trail to the manor. I winced as I inched along the dirt road, every groove and pothole putting my city car's suspension under serious strain. You got it, baby, you got it, I purred, rubbing the dashboard lovingly. Soon enough, the track opened to a wide gravel driveway. The ancient oak I'd broken my arm falling out of sat in its very center like nature's roundabout. Then there was the manor, the home of 4 generations of Murphys, the very same wind-torn saltire flag whipping from the slate roof's singular turret. 2 stories built in Victorian-inspired style stood proud, its stone having faded to a light sand color over the years. The large lower-floor windows were almost entirely concealed by thick green ivy snaking around its structure like squeezing limbs.